before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you further clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope will show up for you, and your moon sign horoscope will present the less prominent side story that will also be occurring, usually closer to home. You can find any video you are looking for by checking out the playlist menu on my main channel page. Horoscopes serve best when viewed like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over the outcome of any occurrence with your thoughts, emotions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. And if you would like to schedule any of my services or leave a tip or donation, you can do so at my website, integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links in the down bar below. I'm sorry if you can hear the furnace, but it's really cold in the Pacific Northwest right now. Anyway, it's time to have a look and see, Libra, what is going on when it comes to the most prominent themes and energies impacting all areas of your life this week. And so we're working with the Syrian Starseed Tarot once again. You have the Queen of Wands or Sage of Flames, the Seven of Wands or Seven of Flames, the Four of Swords or Four of Orbs, and the Chariot. And so this week, I feel like there's a breakthrough in a venture that you are connected to. It's either a venture you're connected to, like you're actively involved in working on it, or it's happening maybe in something that you were affiliated in, a group you're affiliated in. But you yourself are being actually elevated and lifted up here. There is going to be a great deal of popularity and influence that you are being brought to in order to actually give you more power over a lot of trends that are either being born or starting to shift this week. Now, we talk about trends being born, trends shifting. These could be things going on, right? When we talk about like work or anything that you've got going on with your own pursuits and things like that, that ultimately are going to be getting a lot, they're picking up a lot of steam. They're starting to catch fire. A lot of people are going to be really, really interested in not just getting more of it, but also wanting more of you. And this is going to be something that I think spills out and actually goes into spaces where this is now not only bringing you into a space of higher demand, but you and all affiliated with this, with whatever venture this is, whatever pursuit this is, are going to be finding that you're kind of getting lifted up. It's almost like an entire team, an entire group is, or an entire project or an entire community is getting lifted this week. And you being a part of it, get that power as well as the benefits that come from that. In fact, we actually have a considerable downshift in the energy behind an ongoing conflict, block, or maybe some kind of, but let's just say otherwise difficult engagements that had seemed completely resistant to resolution. Okay, so when we see a downshift in this, now we're talking, and I feel like this is going around situations that honestly, maybe you were dealing with people or protocol or standards that didn't even want resolution, right? They didn't want it. They didn't want things to get better. Maybe maybe that's just where they are. But you're noticing this downshift in that conflict or the energy behind it. So it's kind of like what used to be a shout is now a tiny little mousy squeak. What used to feel like a slap in the face now feels like a tap on the shoulder. There is something going on that is taking the wind out of the sails of a lot of this ish that is actually giving you the ability to either topple it over or to actually still sweep it up in this new power that you've got, sweep it up in this new influence that you've got, and transmute it into something else. Now, whether this is going on a family, again, relationships, home, all of that, we're talking about all areas of your life. You'll be encountering this most likely several times, but it's a very, very cool thing to encounter several times. However, I do find that you will be noticing it's going to be necessary as well this week to pull back or even start issuing some timeouts when it comes to a lot of connections or priorities that you're obviously outgrowing. You're now in a space where, for lack of a better phrasing, you've outclassed it. A lot of the, maybe it's not necessarily, just dramas. Maybe it's not necessarily just the BS that some people can kind of, let themselves get caught up in and do over and over again. But also, outgrowing sort of your old clothes, so to speak, outgrowing a lot of your old engagements. And this is also going to be necessary. I'm finding that you're going to be doing this also to help others kind of find their way. You're sort of turning people loose that ultimately have maybe come to project or depend way too much on you at the same time. And this is going to free you up. This is really going to free you up, because you're also going to find that a lot of propositions or pursuits that you've had, either the tools and as well as, maybe even the vision for a lot of things that you have actually got, for the most part, locked down, but maybe we're missing some, important piece, whether it's the, maybe the social connections, or maybe the road, the path, the map to get to where we're going, even though we have either the energy, the resources, or again, maybe we have the connections. You're finding that now things are actually the way to, the how-to guides are all showing up here for you, especially when it comes to getting things lifted off the ground. You had no way to know how to enact them. You weren't necessarily sure where to, you weren't sure what to do with step A. B, C, D, E, all the way up through, you were fine. But the step A, this is the week where a lot of this cleanup and a lot of this amplification of your own presence, your own prominence is really creating that A for you, that step A to work on. So again, if you've been kind of sitting there with a pack without a path, if you've been sitting there without, with a moving truck without a road, the road is not being opened, it is actually being paved. It is actually being built this week. So be prepared. Again, it's going to be go time for a lot of things that you've basically been sort of keeping in a holding pattern. So that's what I've got for you, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.